Topic number 1. You don't give away your secrets.
Cheers, everyone!
Cheers. Cheers, Barnes.
Welcome to... what are we calling it? Engagement 101.
What was that show that used to happen? Is it Parkinson's?
This is your life.
This is your life. With Piers Morgan.
Parkinson's?
Is it Parkinson's? What's his name? What's his name?
Not the disease.
What was his name?
I don't know.
Wasn't his name Parkinson?
Maybe.
Tonight with Parkinson's.
Anyway, cheers everybody. This was from my mama, Julie. Big shout out to Jules because she'll be watching. But we're going to pop the champagne and then... Hello, Nan. And then we're going to dive in. Are you ready?
Be careful. So we did this in New York and Beck was nearly Captain Jack Sparrow with one eye.
It hit my forehead really bad. Yeah, it wasn't great. But we thought we would sit down with a little glass of champagne.
Cheers all. Actually, you don't like champagne.
That's fine. We can deal with it. And tell you everything about the engagement. Because I know you're all dying to hear. Especially the ones that we know are watching. Cheers.
Cheers, Iz. Love you.
Love you. Love you. Can you get on board with that?
Reminds me of birthday mimosas.
So we thought we'd go through the whole engagement story. We won't bore you for too long, but I've got to make some time up on the vlog today because this is the vlog.
We're kind of fell. So New York was absolutely epic. Now we're back to reality. Now we're back to just sitting in the living room watching TV.
With my dog shagging my back. Calm down. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to speak about the engagement in general. We're going to share our stories individually but simultaneously at the same time, and then we're going to let you know what happened on the actual engagement day.
Oh yeah, the punters don't know yet,
The punters don't know.
Kept it all in wraps.
Yes, so start from the very beginning, a very good place to start. I would say pretty much from the moment we met, we knew we were going to get engaged.
For sure.
Like,
for sure.
you know when you know, like, we met each other, and if you've listened to podcast 100, you'll know the controversies that we went through. The big one. We knew from the moment that we met that we'd definitely be married, be together forever, so engagement was always on the cards. We've got a funny story about a Tiffany ring, which we won't be telling on this video. But anyway, so we kind of have spoke about it a lot, haven't we?
Yeah,
like
we've been very open about it, which is a massive help for me. Because engagement rings is a different world. Diamonds, colours, yeah.
And to be fair, engagement rings for me was like a huge different world. Like, I've never been that type of gal who knew exactly what ring she wants, knows exactly what the wedding's going to look like. I've just never been like that. So when we started talking about it, which we did, I really had to like Pinterest it hard because I had no clue.
Yeah, good old Pinterest. No
clue what it would look like, how I wanted it to be, what would suit my sausage fingers, all of the above.
So first tip, if there is anyone watching that wants to get engaged, get a Pinterest open jointly so you can both see, and you just keep firing ideas in there. You don't need to talk about it, just keep putting the pins in and let him figure it out.
You know what was really cool though, because I did find a couple of the first pictures that I sent you, and it's literally
exactly the same.
The exact thing. It's beautiful. So yeah, so it's always been on the cards. We talked about the ring and what sort of ring I wanted, and I kind of knew that it would happen sooner rather than later. So that brings us on to the next section of the video, because we were actually supposed to be engaged
in August
on the 11th of the 8th.
Our little anniversary date.
Our anniversary date.
However, so there's a place in town called Lion's Den. It's just a burger joint. It's nothing too crazy. But for some reason, whenever we're down Lion's Den, I don't know if this was the first occasion that it happened, but whenever we're down Lion's Den, we seem to conquer the world in some way. We seem to come up with ideas, and that was where you broke it to me that you knew that I was going to propose to you on our anniversary, didn't they?
Yeah, so I have like a very sixth sense. Like I had this weird feeling that Mom was going to surprise me when she came to Australia. Like I just knew that he was going to propose on the 11th of the 8th. I got a bit gutsy and was like, look, I know that you're going to propose to me on the 11th of the 8th. You can carry on doing it, but I have this feeling that you are. I shouldn't have said anything because I would have been proposed to in August. However, I'm glad I did because New York City skyline probably beats that anyway.
Yes. No, originally, actually, before the anniversary, we were planning on going to Vancouver for my 30th.
Yeah.
Which is the first time I kind of properly thought about it in the sense of looking at locations to propose. But we didn't end up going to Vancouver, we actually ended up staying at home.
We stayed at home for his full birthday week.
Which is then where the anniversary idea came from.
Yeah. So I'd ruined it, I'd already ruined it, and then I let it go and I was like, look, I can't ruin it again. I'm just going to shut up, the end. So let's go into pre-engagement. So I had a very firm idea that it was going to be a helicopter ride and that there was going to be a proposal. I was pretty certain on that because I've always wanted to do a helicopter ride, and you, for some reason, you were booking said helicopter ride a couple of months ago, and you were on the bed with your laptop and you were like, don't come in, don't look at my laptop. Like you made it so obvious that you were doing something.
See, the beauty of this is, all along I said it was a Christmas present, which is the best cover-up because it allows you to be secretive and suspicious, but cover it up as a Christmas present, which I think worked well.
Yeah. So I was like adamant that it was going to be a helicopter ride, that I hoped the proposal would have happened, and was kind of dead set on that's what would happen. However, leading up to it, Jack became the best salesman cover-up ever in this world. So tell your story and I'll pitch in.
What, from when I...
Like the ring, getting the ring.
Okay, yeah, so obviously we had the Pinterest. We were quite open of like the colours and all the rest of it that comes with it. So I had left it quite late. Not in my head, I thought I still had plenty of time. So I had about 6 weeks to go until New York. I booked the helicopter months and months ago. But for the ring, I left it a little bit late. I think more so because it's hard to keep something like that hidden for so long. So I wanted to kind of leave it till the last minute to get it and just make sure that I didn't give anything away. So I went up there, they said that they can make it in about, I went up to the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham. They said that they can make it in about 5 weeks or so, which was perfect. I actually picked the ring up the week of New York. So cutting it very fine. I think if I was a week late, I would have, you'd have had a Haribo ring.
So, my dreams would have come true.
And luckily I travel the country / world, so there's most times I'm either on the road or at home, so I can quite easily sneak out of the house and just say I'm at customers, which is what I did. I was travelling back from customers down in Woking. And I said to Beck, I've only just left, but actually I was at the jewellery shop.
Sneaky beak.
So yeah, so that's how I planned it.
Yeah, so I was like in my head trying to catch him out at any given moment. So like in my head I was like, well, he's definitely not asked my dad yet because like I've been there every time that we've been all together. Like he's definitely not got the ring yet because like we'd looked at rings, right? We'd spoke about rings, and then all of a sudden the conversation ended, and you never asked me a
I had all
single
the
thing
information
again.
I needed.
And you had started to ask my ring size.
See, that was difficult because so you'd said that you were at the size. But that was a while back that you had that measured, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then I wanted to make sure that it did fit, which I think this is probably the hardest part without giving it away. But because we were so open, I don't know how, did I just say, let's go and get you?
Yeah, I think you were very like, this is what it is. Our friend Alex went round Beth's house and like used one of her rings and like sized it up without her knowing that he'd been round
It's
and
a
stuff like
difficult
that.
task.
I don't wear rings ever.
Difficult.
Like I never wear anything on my fingers, and I don't think I've got a ring here that you could have sized up secretly.
No.
It had to be this is what it is, this is the size. So
Yeah.
we'd done that, and then you didn't say anything after that, did you?
There was a jeweller's in Shrewsbury which we went to do that. And I think it was more so we were in town, they were there, and I just said, you know, let's just go and get your finger measured just in case, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty.
That worked quite well.
That was very tricky.
But apart from that, like he wasn't giving anything on, and like I was like, well, maybe he sent the ring to Mitch's because that's where we were going first. Like, you know, like in America, you can get like a better. It was almost like you could get better for less, wasn't it, in America? And like the stuff that I was seeing on Reels
money-wise.
Money-wise, I don't know, but that was my like thought process. So I was like, he hasn't asked my dad. He hasn't got the ring.
That was tricky. So if anyone knows Mark, wears his heart on his sleeve, bless him. So I knew if I were to ask him to marry Beck that he would start crying. So as you can imagine, you know, when they visit, we're all kind of in the house together. There was a moment which we were out and we were walking down to a German festival in Shrewsbury, and it was just me and Mark, and then Beck and Jules was behind. But I knew as soon as I asked him, there would be a reaction, and then it would give it away. So we had to settle for a phone call, unfortunately.
Which I think is cute. And he did keep to his promise, and he didn't say anything to Mom either, didn't he? So well done, Dad. Well done. Yeah, so I'd basically got to the point before New York where I was dead set that it would be a helicopter ride and then we'd be engaged. But you played such a good game building up to it, like being so nonchalant that I started to genuinely believe that it wasn't happening. Like so much so that even, I'll pop the message that I sent to Hannah here, this was when we got to the helicopter ride and I messaged Hannah saying, I'm 99% sure it's not happening today. Even at the helicopter ride, I was 100% certain, because when we got to New York, like you were letting me go through your bags.
Yeah.
Like there was no kind of like stress of that. And I was like going in, I was like packing your stuff. I was like putting your things in, like.
Cool as a cucumber.
So cool. The coolest I've ever seen him, which is like the most opposite of what happens in an engagement.
Yeah.
In the films.
Yeah.
So
You've gotta
like
be
I was
confident.
adamant. And then I think my reaction when we got to the helicopter made you realise that you tricked me that much, wasn't
You know when you buy someone a present, because it technically was a Christmas present as well. You know when you buy someone a present and you can tell that they're not actually that impressed by it, and they're like, oh, this is fun.
I was impressed by the helicopter, by the way. That's not being an idiot.
So we got off the tube down in the financial district in New York, and you come out of pretty much the city and then you're on the coast of Manhattan, and obviously that's where all the helicopters are, and they're coming in, they're taking off, very loud. So we turn the corner, we come out to the coast, and that's all you can hear and see is these helicopters. And I remember looking at Beck thinking, do I say what the present is, or obviously will she understand what it is? And I think I looked over and I got a sense that you weren't too impressed because you realised what it was.
No, it wasn't that I wasn't impressed. I was like, is he going to tell me that this is the present? Or are we both going to stand here knowing that I'm about to go on a helicopter and no one's saying anything? So I was waiting for you to be like, surprise! And you did, like, right as we got into the thing, but not as we came down. Like, I still could be going anywhere. I don't freaking know. But anyway, so we got to the helicopter place. Jack then pooed his pants because...
So I made it all that way. So the decision, first of all, to take the ring in the bag was quite difficult because I wanted to put it in the case, which is less likely for you to find out where it is. But I went to Canada a couple of months before this trip and my luggage was delayed. So that scrapped that idea out the window. So then I put it in my hand luggage thinking, oh God, will somebody, will it go through security? Will it be detected? But thankfully it didn't. But then we turned up to the helicopter place and there's a guy with his little, beeper. and I had a gilet on, and it was quite puffy, so I had it in the left side, and he scanned the right side of my body first, but for some reason it kind of beeped, and then he did the left side and it beeped again, and I was like, oh, thank God for that. So luckily he didn't take any notice and he let me in. So yeah. My heart was having a pound.
And I was nervous the whole time because I was like, if this is the proposal, but they don't know that I don't know, and then one of them slips up, and then...
That could have been the end of it.
Yeah.
That could really have been the end.
Yeah. So we got ready for the helicopter, we watched the little video, we got our little safety bags on, we went out, we had a picture in front of the helicopter, we got into the helicopter, and then when we got in, we actually realised how the seats were. So before we got in, they kind of showed us what formation we could sit in, but we thought that so they were trying to get us to sit in the 2 seats that were kind of nearer the side that you could see everything, but we thought that the 2 seats were like facing that way, didn't we? Whereas they were actually facing each other. So if we knew that would have been...
That would have worked better. So we ended up sitting next to each other. And it's like the same as the back of a car, so you have 2 seats, but then the middle seat is always the worst. But it's actually raised, and then the roof is smaller.
Like...
So there's Becky in all this luxury in this nice seat, plenty of room. And there's me,
like scrunched
up, thinking, how the hell am I going to do this proposal?
So we get up into the air, like I'm taking, like Jack has the vlog video to do the vlogs as what we thought it was.
Yeah.
I was taking videos on my phone, like we circled around the Statue of Liberty, which will like literally be a core memory for me forever. Like that feeling of going around the Statue of Liberty in a helicopter was just
unreal.
Incredible. We went all the way down, like looking at the skyline all the way down, and then it basically turns around and comes back the way you come, doesn't it? So when we were going down, what was your thought process?
I was actually pretty chilled, so I knew that I was always going to do it on the way back. I didn't want to, like, I wanted us to enjoy the helicopter ride. And because I knew, you know, if I'd have asked at the start, then we wouldn't have appreciated what was actually going on. So we did the full lap down to kind of Central Park, and then looped back, and then I was like, okay, now we've got to do it. And that's when it got a little bit messy.
It went a little bit messy. So in the helicopter, you've got obviously the headphones on because it's so loud, and then the microphone like down to your mouth, but like only one person can speak at a time, can't they? Like you're hearing what they're saying.
And basically. He's got so if we're talking and he speaks, and it cuts our audio off. So he's like the main channel. Yeah. Which.
Having said that.
So we're coming back down the Hudson River, and I kind of wait after Central Park, so the skyline, then we get to the skyline again. And then I didn't really think anything through. I just kind of thought, you know, I'll go with the flow, I'll get the ring out, I'll say whatever comes to mind at the time. So I just started off with Beck. But at that point I'd already reached to my pocket to get the ring out, which I shouldn't have. I should have said what I wanted to say, then get the ring out. So I pull the box out, say Beck, and then he's like,
started talking.
To your left, we got the New York Yankees Stadium, and I'm holding this box in the middle of the plane.
Both of us are like, we were sitting the opposite way, so like I was like, oh my god, he's got a ring. Jack has like literally just sat there with the box like, Beck, and then he started talking about some bloody landmark, which we couldn't, like, we then couldn't answer because we were so in the conversation. Like, it was.
We just had to sit it out and wait for him to stop talking, which was a bit awkward.
Wait for him to
finish. But we found it funny. It made it funny.
And then you popped the question, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
And that was that, and he was like, "Congratulations, guys!"
He was good.
He was good, yeah. So the proposal wasn't as planned, but I quite like that. Like the camera didn't work and pick anything up, but I quite like that. Like, and then basically we got off the helicopter, and then went outside, and like I said to, he was like, Jack said, oh, I didn't say that what I wanted to say, and I was like, well, say it now and get on one knee and do it. And this was in the car park of the helicopter place.
Insert photo.
Yes. Photo here. And this guy came running out who worked there that was like, oh my god, have you just got engaged? We were like, well, not here, it was in the air, but he's doing it on one knee here. So we've got like a couple of photos of us in a car park in New York getting engaged. So that's the story, really.
Yeah, did we miss anything?
I don't think we did.
No.
Then we went and obviously FaceTimed everyone and had a bit of a celebration and a really, really beautiful meal, didn't we? So
really nice.
That's the end of the engagement story. It's a story to tell, and one definitely to tell the grandkids, that we got engaged over the New York City skyline, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
I love you. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.